Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. In this video, what we're going to be discussing are 5 guns in PUBG that are secretly amazing. So weapons that you may not play with all the time, but are actually genuinely really good. I think a few of these are going to surprise you guys, because these are weapons that aren't considered part of the meta right now, but in my opinion, they can be just as competitive with some of the more popular weapons like an M4 or an AK. And before we get into all that, of course, if you guys end up enjoying the video, please make sure to leave a like rating, as it does help me out a lot. And also, make sure that you are subscribed if you are brand new to the channel and this is the first video that you're ever seeing. We're getting close to 200,000 subscribers, which is of course our goal. And I want you to let me know inside of the comment section, what gun is the most underrated in your opinion in PUBG? So what weapon do you think does not get the most credit in your opinion that deserves a lot more of the spotlight? Whatever that is, do let me know. Whatever you commented, hopefully it ends up on this list. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started. Now, kicking it off today and taking our number 5 spot on this list is the classic Vector. Now, I would say that my opinion on this gun over the past couple months has drastically changed, is pretty safe to say. I actually really like this now. I used to not, only because I didn't really feel like it had a niche, right? Okay, so the UMP was, you know, it was pretty much the best at a range. It was a nice cross between an SMG and an assault rifle, and the Vector was like, it was good up close, and that's what a lot of people said, but it just had a few things holding it back, you know, for instance, the magazine size and stuff like that. You know, might as well just use a shotgun if you're going to be that close. But I've since, you know, changed my opinions on this, and also with the addition of the laser sight attachment, this completely changes the game. The Vector has now a new niche role that it can fill. If you're putting on the laser sight, and obviously the extended mag compensator, all that stuff, things that are built for up close engagements, this is a like laser sight hip fire beast. I'm telling you, it really feels very reminiscent of a CS:GO kind of gun. So if you're used to that game, hip firing the Vector might feel, you know, perfectly natural for you. And there's not a lot of weapons that I recommend you jump shot with in this game, because the mechanics just aren't really friendly towards that style of play. But I will say the Vector is an anomaly. You can jump shot with the Vector in a closer range setting, and it's nice to pair with something like an SKS or another DMR, or even some assault rifles like an M4. They can go really well together. Now, I will say though, the extended mag on the Vector is absolutely required to play it like this. It will literally over double your magazine size, which is crucial for a weapon like this that just is a bullet hose and spits them out. But you need to have it, and if you don't, it's going to be a lot harder to play. Now, coming in today at our number 4 spot is the MK47 Mutant. This is the newest gun that has been added in PUBG currently. It just came with the brand new update, and I think this has a lot of unique attributes to it that make it a standout weapon. First of all, it's sort of like, you can think of it as the 7.62 firing M16. It functions in almost the same way, having a single tap and also a burst fire mode, but it fires different bullets which do 6 more damage per shot. But it does a couple different things than the M16. For instance, the M16 fires 3 rounds at a time, but the Mutant only fires 2, which makes gunfights feel a lot different and play out a little bit differently as well. And I think some people might be tripped out getting used to that. Now, you also aren't really taking full advantage of it if you're just trying to use it up close. Same thing with the M16, it can be used for that, but there's plenty of better options if you're going to be in that range. The Mutant really shines at the medium to medium-ish long range, so it's a really nice bridge between a DMR and an assault rifle. Technically, it's still an AR, but its functionality is kind of between those two classes. I gotta be honest, guys, when this was added to the game and I first got to playing with it, it was a big yikes for me. Like, I thought it was probably one of the worst guns in the game, genuinely, but as I've gotten to play with it more in-game and tested out different things in the training ground mode, different sets of attachments, I've actually come to really like this weapon, and I believe the key to this is in the grips. That, and also the bullet velocity, really took me by surprise. When you commonly think of 7.62 firing ARs, you think of just like slow, sluggish bullets that hit hard when they do, but have a longer travel time. The velocity isn't quite like some of the other maybe 5.56 ARs or whatever, but you'll be genuinely surprised about how fast these bullets come out of the Mutant. And I would say it's pretty comparable to something like the M16, not quite as fast as a Mini 14 or anything like that, but if you play around with it, you'll realize that it's quicker than you might think. But after all the testing I've done with it, I believe the perfect formula for the Mutant that's going to give you the best results is of course the extended mag, but when it comes to the grip, you want a vertical. The half grip is not bad, and I would say that's maybe between that and the lightweight grip as the second choice, but the other ones are just kind of a no-go. Vertical grip is always the one you want to be sought after for the Mutant if you're going to play it. If not, maybe consider something else. But if you have that and also a compensator or a suppressor and maybe a 3 to 4 times scope, you're going to be in really good hands. Getting away from that one and coming in at our number 3 spot is a crate weapon, and I decided to include crate weapons because I think that they should still be a runner in this list. Now, this is going to be the AUG A3, and I genuinely think that this might have the most easy to control assault rifle spray in the entire game. But with that being said, the spray pattern, if you're not used to the weapon, just feels awkward, and I don't know really how to put my finger on it. I don't know why it feels awkward. I don't know if it's the timing of the fire rate or something like that, but it feels just like a little bit off if you're not used to the weapon. And what I did was just practice it in the training grounds mode, and now when I play with it in real games, it feels so natural and I understand the gun. It might be the fact of the horizontal kick that I might have, so in that case an angled grip or a thumb grip maybe isn't too bad of a choice, but I still tend to run vertical just because that's what I like on it. And what you end up getting at the end of the day is pretty much a more steady M416, right? The M4 is credited as the best 5.56 AR probably by most players aside from the AUG, of course, but the trade-off that you get with the AUG is that it has a little bit of a slower fire rate than the M4, but if you are able to sacrifice that in order to have a, you know, more reliable and easier to control spray pattern, then you'll probably love the AUG. Other than that, it's got almost identical statistics to the M4, and I think that it's a shame that we don't get to play with this weapon more because it's a lot of fun and I enjoy it. And I do believe it's time to put for this weapon into common spawns and maybe replace it in care packages with maybe another 5.56 AR that they're testing and want to have as a special one. The AUG's been in drops for long enough. I think we should have on the ground. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. But moving on here, taking our number 2 spot has to be the one and only. Yes, it's another care package weapon, the Sweet Prince, the MK47. This gun's absolutely god tier at both single tapping at a range and even spraying up close, believe it or not. It's really not bad for that. And what you're about to see is a little bit of a single tap test to show you how affected by stance this is, right? You can do some crazy things with the MK14. Now I'm going to fire into this wall with no control of my mouse and just single tap one after the other. I'm going to fire 10 into the wall and then change positions. I'm in standing right now and you can see the spray pattern that comes out of this. And then I'm going to move on to crouched, and what you're going to see is that the reduction in the vertical recoil and stuff is going to be reduced as it should. But watch what happens when you go prone with the MK14. A lot of the weapons in PUBG have a bipod, which is going to pretty much almost cancel out any recoil while you're prone. And just look at this, it becomes almost seamless, and this is still with no control as well. And if you just move your mouse or your cursor or whatever even just so slightly, you can make this a pinpoint accurate. You can also put on a red dot, use it full auto up close, and look at this. This is a DMR, by the way, with 20 rounds in the magazine and firing with this steady of a spray. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Now, a couple of the guns that I said should be in common spawns, I don't believe that about the MK14 as its current state. It would definitely outshine all the other DMRs, but I think it's still in that god tier status that, you know, the only reason why people might not see that is because they just don't get a lot of play time with it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we unveil our number 1 spot, I want to give a quick honorable mention. I want to give a shout out to my boy, the QBU, otherwise known as the scuffed MK14. It's got the same whole bipod thing going on with it. You know, it's a DMR, holds 20 in the magazine. The only difference here is that the QBU does way less damage per shot, and also the recoil is a lot higher than the MK14, and it has no full auto mode. So it's the Walmart MK14, lads. But you know what? I still got to show it some love. I think it's a really good gun regardless. It's a perfect kind of alternative for the Mini 14 and Sanok, and I'm not even trolling like when I say I like to run it. Feels like just trying to use the MK14 but on hard mode, and like that's fine because it's a little bit of a challenge. It's such a different, unique, niche weapon, and the fact that it's only in the Sanok makes it a little bit more special as well. And finally, the moment you have all been waiting for, getting into our number 1 spot of what I think is secretly the most amazing gun in PUBG. I had to kind of narrow this down between a lot of choices, and it was tough to make, but at the end of the day, I had to look at player stats, overall popularity, meaning how many people usually run it per game, and what I came down to the conclusion was that the number 1 spot of the secretly best gun in PUBG has to go, the gold star, to my boy, the DP28. Can we all get a quick round of applause for this weapon? Hold it down in the background, and while it's not maybe the prettiest looking weapon, it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles like the M416, I think that this is a gun that can do any job you give it. It does serious damage up close, given its fire rate and as well as the magazine size at 47, and it also has a bipod that you can throw on 4 times, and if you prone, look how much of a laser that spray can be. You can do this on top of a hill hill and spray down at vehicles or people, and you'll be surprised about how you can delete people out of range. The DP probably is the most slept on weapon in PUBG, and I think it deserves more recognition than it should. Maybe this has to do with the fact that it is not unfortunately included in Sanhok, which is a bit of a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. But you know what, DP, just to be real with you, even though you'll always be number 17 on the battlefield, you will be forever number 1 in my heart. So thank you for being there always when I need it. But anyways, guys, I was gonna say this at the end of the video, but it's not. Before I let you guys go, I need to keep you around for one more second to talk to you about the future of this channel. Now, some of you may be aware that Black Ops 4 is coming out very soon. In fact, less than 2 weeks from the time of me recording this video. And I just wanted to quickly touch base with everybody and let you know that yes, I still will be posting PUBG after the release of Black Ops 4, but during the time of that release and, you know, shortly after, I want to spend a lot of time focusing on that. So everything from Blackout content and especially zombies, because Call of Duty Zombies is something that I've been playing for over 10 years. I'm very passionate about and is honestly the foundations of this channel and where it started. And I know it's a different style of game from PUBG and it's a very big drift, but I just kind of am asking you to be a little bit patient with me as the month of October is going to be a little bit experimental with content, and I just need to keep your guys' feedback as to what you'd like to see and what you don't like to see. But we're going to cross that bridge as we get there. We don't need to be in any rush, and we'll figure it out as we go. But I just want to touch base, let you guys know what's going on, and thank you so much for sticking around. It really does mean the absolute world. But thank you guys for coming out once again. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like rating. It does help me out so much. Subscribe also if you're new to this channel for all kinds of content coming out within the next year. It's going to be a big year, and I hope you all stick around for the ride. It's going to be great. But thank you so much for coming out. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy and peace out.